Well, welcome back, everybody.
Hey, this is Joyzel.
And this is BPG.
And this is the Toy Show.
We've been talking a lot about the Snake Mountain Playset. I think the last time we did a thing, they were trying to reach 100% of its funding in order for it to go into manufacturing.
Yeah.
This is the Masters of the Universe Skeletor playset, Snake Mountain, that Super7 is doing. It is the biggest action figure playset that has ever been created up until this point.
Jesus.
They did reach 100%, so it's happening. So we're all getting
happening.
So anyone that was like me and spent that astronomical amount of money that you put it down, it is going to be 4 feet wide.
Yeah, you're not getting that money back.
By 3 feet high. I'm not getting that money back. Marianne, who's my wife, let's look at a beautiful photo of her. Look how cute she is.
Marianne.
I love you to death, so I know you're going to be very understanding when the Snake Mountain playset arrives.
That's a very nice word
in
to
a 4.5 foot box.
Understanding.
But you know, it just started making me think, because of the Snake Mountain thing, about big action figure playsets. Prior to the Star Wars action figures in 1977, like all figures were like relatively large, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like it was Star Wars in 77 that really created the 3 3/4 inch action figure. And the reason that size was so cool was because you got to incorporate the playsets. You had figures that were so small, you can now put them in vehicles, you can put them in these giant, whatever settings and stuff. So
Are you sure the Barbie dollhouse wasn't first?
Yeah, I guess that's true, but it's like, is it a toy or is it a doll? That's where it gets a little long.
Got it,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
alright, I'll take that.
So basically, it's like the Millennium Falcon in 1977 was kind of considered like sort of the first playset. It was like pretty large, it was big, you could put all your toys in that. And that really kicked off a whole, generation of giant playset toys, right? So Star Wars had like all these bigger things, like they would go to the Imperial Walker, they would have a Death Star space station.
Yeah, they just have, I see what you're
all
saying.
these big, the Ewok Village was a giant playset that came out during Return of the Jedi. And then all the other different figure companies started to follow suit, right? So like, Thundercats had the Cat Slayer.
Oh.
Ghostbusters had their Firehouse. Even She-Ra had her own Crystal Castle, which was reminiscent of He-Man's Castle Grayskull, right? And then obviously Skeletor had the original Snake Mountain. These were still not considered super-sized playsets, right? What I consider was super.
So how big were they?
So all those playsets that I'm describing were about big-ish. In 1985, they released the USS Flagg aircraft carrier. Look at this fucking thing.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Damn.
That's 6 feet long. That's 6 feet long, right? So that means you gotta be a rich kid with a big-ass basement to have this thing.
It's like a whole-ass human.
You basically needed like another room. This was one of the first playsets that cost over $100 even in 1986, right? Or 1985.
Yeah.
So that was like a huge thing. But then it showed, because they sold so many, that you could make these big friggin' things and you could sell them. So other companies started doing them. In 1986, Masters of the Universe made the Eternia playset. Look at this thing.
Wow, damn.
That thing was huge. It was tremendous. I never had it because it was out of my price point, Mom's boyfriend.
Was it bigger than
Mom's
the
boyfriends
Joe?
are more into buying figures than coming in with these big boxes. But actually, that being said, one of my stepfathers. I don't want to get into my family history.
Let's not do it. All right.
But anyhow, in 1987, I got the greatest gift I've ever received in my life. I might even do a whole episode on this. It's my favorite present of all time. Is the G.I. Joe Space Shuttle Defiance. Look at this thing.
Whoa.
It was huge. It was tremendous. And
Oh,
it worked as 3 different vehicles. There's a little crank over there, so you make the crank. You can make the whole thing into launching position. It's like bigger than the kid. Basically, you had the Flagg in '85. You had Eternia in '86. You had the Defiant in '87. Fast forward. What are we talking about? 25 years? 30 years?
I guess, whatever. Now.
Lindsay showed us when she went to New York Toy Fair the mail-away Kickstarter for the Jabba's sail barge. So that thing was crazy. It was huge, right?
Yeah.
It showed up in all these giant boxes. Here's photos of people getting the box delivered. It's like you can barely fit the thing through the door.
Damn.
Snake Mountain is like 3 times the size of this thing.
You showed me those funny promo photos of like somebody trying to fit it into the mailbox.
Yeah, let's look at these.
Which is ridiculous.
Here it is in the back of a truck. It's insanity how large this thing is. And the sad thing is that is just it out of the box. So with all
so the shipping would probably
all the cushioning and all the packaging, the box
God.
They said the boxes might be like 4 or 5 feet in length or whatever.
When we get it in, we're gonna compare meat in the box versus
I love
Snake
that.
Mountain in the box.
I'm saying.
It's gonna be great.
Here's an artist's rendition of what it might look like. I'm excited. Big playsets are cool. I think as an adult collector, it's kind of hard. I mean, now that we're all fighting for space and we collect so many figures, what do you guys think about playsets?
Yeah.
Guys, I know even I collect Star Wars stuff, but I don't really collect the vehicles because I don't have that much room for this.
Yeah, and my is like I just collect figures.
Right.
Like
you don't
statuesque
have
kind of things.
your stuff doesn't really have.
There's
that
not like a
sort of,
diorama or like a little like play thing.
Right.
No, so I don't do that.
So it's weird because I'm like fighting all these things. Like when I get Snake Mountain, what do I do? I mean, does it get its own friggin' room? Like where do I put this thing? And also you got to remember, it's like it's the front of it's cool, but then there's all this stuff on the back. You know, so even if you display it, like what do you do? I rotate
Yeah, how do you
it?
do it? You need to get like a huge ass like turntable or whatever.
Brian Flynn from Super7, who's a super cool dude, he actually admitted in an interview recently that they are not really making a profit on this thing. They're like just breaking even. Like this is literally a love from collectors to other collectors.
Okay, that's kind of sweet.
Yeah, that was like kind of cool. A lot of people have been giving him shit, I think, because of the price and all this type of stuff. And he literally said, he's like, listen, we had an opportunity to make a giant Snake Mountain. Why not do it? And they hit 100% because obviously there's enough like me that will buy this thing. So good for you, Brian Flynn. Good for you, Super7, and we're all looking forward to the giant Snake Mountain when it finally arrives.
So is Marianne.
And I love you, Marianne. You're the best.